BTC has lost 16.8% so far in November. December usually sees a 4.75% gain. Will December turn out to be a bullish month? If you have XRP, please let me know in the comments below, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for all the love you show every day. Make sure you've joined to the channel and that the bell icon is turned on so that you know when we post something. You can see for yourself that it was a great day by looking at the market as a whole over the last 24 hours. There was some pullback for some altcoins, but again, zoom out and look at it over the course of a week. This makes it easier for us to understand what's going on. This trend of going up has been going on since Saturday, and you can really see how it has affected the altcoin market. XRP, on the other hand, is up 16%. But again, looking at it over a month, the market as a whole is still down a lot. XRP is currently down about 16%, but it's holding up better than BTC. As of this report, the price of XRP was $2.23, which is up about 1.6% in USD and the same amount in Bitcoin. The value is getting close to $135 billion, and $3 billion worth of trades happen every 24 hours. Just a quick note to say that nothing on this channel is meant to be taken as financial advice. As with any investment, you should always do your own study before putting money into crypto. Take a look at what Trump said. He says that because of tariff money coming in since the beginning of the year, the US may not need an income tax at all. There have been a lot of theories since he became president about whether or not he will get rid of the capital gains tax. It's clear that this doesn't mean that, it means income tax. It would still be a big deal though. Basically said in public that if this happened, it would have a good effect on the markets because more people would have money to spend on other things. They might start to think about investments and other things now, but once more, big deal. Please tell me what you think about that. Oh yes, in the comments. But look at this. If you're in the greed score, you can see that there is a lot of green across the board, which is what I told you about the weekly time from here. The fear and greed measure, on the other hand, still shows that we're in the extreme fear zone. The Bitcoin fear and greed measure is now at 22, which means people are very scared. This is a little higher than yesterday's level of 15, which meant people were very greedy. For now, that should only show you how much the market has gone back over the last month. Even better, you know that the market is coming back. This is still a very scary area though, which should tell you where the market really stands. For the second time, I want you all to pay close attention to this, but be careful. Quentin says that the last cycle's finished with rate hikes and quantitative tightening. This time, however, quantitative tightening is ending and interest rates are going down. I've already talked to you about this in the market research updates. Of course, you guys know that this is a daily part on my channel where I talk about the market as a whole. I had a meeting with you guys not long ago, and I told them about the start of quantitative easing and what that might mean for the markets. And once you understand it, that means that maybe more cash will flow to individuals or even companies. Could that happen in the stock market and crypto? Know that in the past, when quantitative easing was going on, you did see those great bull markets for altcoins and other things. When it comes to altcoin, the last time we saw something like that was late last year or early this year. Besides that, we haven't seen much that we saw in 2021. However, I keep reminding you that there were not nearly as many coins in 2021 as there are now. We might want to remember those things. Also, more money will move into crypto markets. I believe that there has never been such a lack of attention from regular people as there is now. But if you look at the stock market, you see the exact opposite. Recently, retail interest has been driving the market. I also talked about that in my last XRP report. There are some really cool things going on, but we'll see. But I think 2026, especially given how the crypto market has behaved at a historical price point where the fourth quarter is usually a strong time in a bull market. We did see prices move slowly though. That just makes people wonder if this 4-year run is over or not. Also, Bitcoin has dropped quite a bit. I think the main indicator of the market has finished the wave. Are we really seeing the start of the next wave that will see Bitcoin hit new all-time highs in the market as a whole? Things will be interesting to see as we get closer to the end of the year. Without a doubt, it's almost the end of November. It's hard for me to believe that November is over. In December, we hope to bring some kind of excitement to the space because, let's face it, it's been a while since there was any kind of bullish movement. Getting rid of momentum would be a good place to start. That might be the beginning of the next wave. We'll see what takes place. Again, though, please tell me what you think in the comments. But 21 shares. Today is the day that ETF will start trading. So here's another spot. ETF is joining. Oh, you can see for yourself that it's very exciting. As always, things that we used to only dream of are finally starting to come true. You know, the ETF talks that used to happen a long time ago are still going on. And to be honest, I think a lot of people are ignoring the demand factor for ETFs. As time goes on, I think that's where people will understand. But again, you know that this ETF is meant to go live today, but L. Oak at this Dr. Whale just put out a new short-term price target for XRP and other big assets. And I wanted to go over this a bit. I read this piece and I'm going to say what I think about it, whether I agree with this analyst or not. So you can see how his prediction fits in with the views of a larger number of experts who are forming expectations for the rest of the cycle. In particular, the prediction says that altcoins may do well over the next 4 months after a few weeks of bad luck. After a rough November, XRP is now moving in a narrow range at $2.20. Dr. Whale still thinks that the asset could see a big gain before the end of the first quarter of next year, even though things have slowed down recently. He says that his main goal for the next 4 months is to make $4. This goal says that more people could reclaim the $3 psychological level and move into uncharted territory at $4 in the coming weeks. I'll talk about how that fits into the bigger picture later in this report. As you can see, the dominance peaked at 59.37%, which is a number we've tested again and again over the last few days. Just to be sure, I've seen a little bit of a refusal at that key range again. We hope that power keeps going down. That's a good sign for alternative coins. But Bitcoin, basically, let's give it a new lease on life. We're about to break out here. That's what I mean. Let me show you Bitcoin every hour. You can see for yourself that there was a small drop down to 90,700 not too long ago. There was an increase, and you can see that we were stopped out at $91,800. To say it again, I think we will go back into the 50 if this can break out. So Bitcoin is looking great and is consolidating quite well. However, you want to see the power start to show signs of weakness. I think that's a good sign for these other coins. Again, take a look at XRP. It's $2.22, as you can see. Also, I think we are doing a lot of the same things that Bitcoin is doing, but faster. At 225, we ran into trouble. As I already said, if Bitcoin can break through the 50 level, I think we'll go beyond our goal of $2.28, which we reached on November 24th. Hey, XRP looks great, but we're going back to the $4 key range. As you know, I've said this 100 times on the channel. If this really is the market turnaround, then this wave is over. This happened when the price of Bitcoin went back up to 78.6. Also, I think I'd be more sure of myself if things went well. Still, there's a chance that we might see some retracements. However, if this wave were to keep going, we would end up back where we started. We would see Bitcoin break out of all-time highs and start testing again. In my general prediction, around the 124,000 to 150,000 key range for this wave, taking this wave into account again. That being said, XRP has been following BTC, right? So you would expect XRP to react positively to Bitcoin's rise. What's really bullish right now, in my opinion, is that XRP is holding up better than BTC. This is because ETF flows and major institutional demand are coming in. And once that happens, you tend to see the market sentiment start to shift back into a bullish trajectory. You might notice that these all-time highs are being tried again a lot faster than most people thought, since that's a 63.8% move. Without a doubt, we could hit all-time highs after that. That's where the $4 price point comes in. But that goal is not impossible to reach in the near to medium term if Bitcoin can get into this key range and XRP continues to perform well and bring in money at the rate we're seeing them in such a short amount of time. An estimate. Once more, zooming out is the best way to see it. Look at what we found in this router market unit. The last few days have seen one of the biggest drops in the market. On November 21st, about $2 billion worth of XRP was liquidated, with October 10th being the biggest day for liquidation. However, the price of XRP has stayed in the 0.50 fib zone. In fact, you can now see ETFs live, so demand for them going above and beyond what a lot of people expect. Yeah, those are things you people don't pay attention, especially at this time. But once the prices are in the 23.6 range or getting close to all-time highs, that's where you'll usually find more hopeful than bearish comments. It happens all the time, and it's just how this market moves. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much for all the love you show every day. We'll see you later, and peace.